Hi everyone, in this lecture we will talk about return keyword. So return keyword is the opposite of parameters. By this I mean that instead of passing data to the function is returning data to us. It allows us to send function's result back to the caller and ends the execution of a function. Just create here a new Python file and I'll name it. Let's write here a new function, and this function will find the sum of two numbers. So def and then sum underscore funct, and it will accept two arguments a and b because we will add two numbers. Just put colon, and in the body we will add these parameters. So just type here sum is equals to a plus b, and for now let's print the sum. Sum, okay, and below this function just type here sum underscore function, and let's pass here our arguments 10 and 20. Let's save it, let's run it, and we got 30. Everything is fine. But what if I write here return sum? So now instead of printing my sum inside this function, I'm returning it. So what are you expecting? Will it print 30 or not? So let's run it, and we got nothing on the screen because this time it is returning the sum back to the caller, and we need a variable that will accept that return. So for this purpose, let's write here result variable will store the sum of a and b. And now let's type here print result. Let's save it, let's run it, and now we got 30. So for the first time, return and print might be same for you, but there is a big difference, and you will understand that difference practically when you start solving problems, because in many scenarios we are bound to use the return keyword instead of the print keyword. Now in the beginning of this lecture I have told you that it also ends the execution of a function. By this I mean that, for example, if I write here something beneath this return like hello, and just type here print world, okay, so as you can see, the color of these two print functions are light as compared to the rest of the colors. But what are you expecting? Will the interpreter print these two lines or not? Because we have written them beneath this return. So let's run it, and we got 30 only, not hello and not world, although both of them are inside the body of the function. But since they are beneath this return, so the interpreter will skip them, because the interpreter will execute only that portion of code which is above this return keyword. So let me debug it, let me put some breakpoints, and now let me debug it in order to give you a clear view. So first of all, the Python interpreter will read this line, which is def function a and b, and in the second step it will go to line 7, and here it will understand that okay, I need to call the body of the function, and it will come back to this point a and b, and then it will come to this third line and it will return the sum. And here, as you can see, in our variable namespace we got another variable with the name sum is equals to 30. And now, as you can see, Python interpreter has skipped line 4 and line 5 and jumped directly to this line 7. In the variable namespace we got another variable with the name result 30, and variable a, variable b, and sum has gone from our variable namespace. So this is how this return function ends the execution of a function. And by the way, this code is called det code. So whatever you write after return keyword in the function is called det code. So let me stop it and just delete them. So I hope you have got an idea of how return keyword work in Python. So by the way, you can't call a function before defining it. So for example, if I copy this line, if I paste it right here before this function, you will see that we will get an error. And here we got an error, the function name is not defined. So you need to define a function first before calling it. So just remove it. Now let's create here some more functions. So let me remove this dead code, and let's create here another function that will find the cube of a number. So just write here def cube cube, and it will receive a single parameter, and I'll return the cube of this number, a raised to power 3. Okay, and let's define some more functions as well. Def square, so this function will find the square of a number. Just write here return a raised to power 2. And finally, let's create here our exponential function, def expo, and this will again receive two arguments, so a and b, and just type here retu return a raised to the power b, and let me put here r. Okay, and now let's call each of them. So let's make it more interesting by asking the user which type of operation he wants to perform. Here let me display menu to the user first. So just write here print, and I'll say on first option we have sum, and then slash n. Then on second option let's save it. And now based on the user selection, I need to perform that particular operation. So just write here opt is equals to an input, and let me write here if statement. So if opt double equals to 1, so if user select 1, this means I need to perform sum. So I'll ask the user to enter two numbers. So just write here a comma b is equals to eval, and we have discussed eval function in the very beginning of this course series. And in the input, I'll ask user to enter two numbers, enter, and I will call this sum function here. So just write here sum function, and I'll pass a comma b, and I'll receive the result of this function here. As you can see, this function is returning me the sum, so I'll receive it in the result variable. I'll print the result simply. So just type here result. Okay, and let's copy these lines, copy them, paste them 4 times. Okay, so now let me modify them. For then I'll say else if the option is 2, this means that I need to perform cube. So for the cube, I need to get only a single number for the user. So I'll write enter a number, and I'll store that number in this a, and instead of sum function, I'll write here cube, and I'll pass my a here, and I'll check that if the option is 3, else if on third option we have the square. So again, I'll ask the user to enter a single number. Let me copy these lines, just paste them here, enter a number, and instead of cube, I'll say square, and I'll print the result. And in option number 4, if the option is 4, I need to find the exponent. So again, for the exponent, I need to get two numbers, and instead of sum, I'll say exp or expo. Okay, let's save it, and I hope our small program will work fine. So let's run it. Okay, so this is my menu: 1 for sum, 2 for cube, 3 for square, and 4 for exponent. So let me find here the square. So just type here 3, hit enter. So enter a number, just enter 5, hit enter, and we got 25. So the square of 5 is 25, So the Python interpreter will pass variable a to the square function, and here is my square function, and this equation will find the square of the number and will return the result with the help of this return keyword. And I am receiving the result in this result variable, and I'm printing the result right here. So how simple it is. And I hope that you have understood how the function work, and just play with them. The more you will practice, the more you will understand them. And I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.